Do 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 do. Oh my god, I've been so busy the past few days. So busy, it made me want to puke. Literally, that busy. Greetings and salutations. As everybody already knows, I don't sell anything and I don't have any affiliate links, and I've fixed an awful lot of cameras over the years, as well as lenses, and I'm pretty much a guy that hates everything. But when you actually get a recommendation from somebody that hates everything, you know, ever meet like those bubbly people where like everything goes wonderfully in their life, and like, is like, what do you think of this? Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, that's so cool. What do you think of that? Oh yeah, that's really nice. What do you think of this broken piece of junk? Oh yeah, it's also pretty good. You know, it's just they're useless. They can't give you an intelligent recommendation on anything. Not to sound like a broken record, which sometimes I obviously do, and people certainly tell me that, as well as they tell me that I'm covered in tattoos, that I'm fat and I'm bald, as if I wasn't intelligent enough already to know that. I'm a huge fan of Fujifilm. There's no such thing as a perfect camera, and even Fujifilm themselves would never dare make that declaration. Neither would any camera company. Well, a couple camera companies have done that in the past about their cameras. Like the Nikon D4 is basically a perfect camera. The D850 Nikon is basically a perfect camera. The XT3 is basically a perfect camera. I mean, but there's nothing that does everything. I mean, just like a Swiss Army knife. All cameras are kind of like that. You know, it's kind of good at doing a lot of stuff, but it's not super awesome at any one thing. Like, an awesome knife is a knife only, right? Like a big-ass, you know, badass Rambo knife. It's, it's only designed to do one thing, and that's what the hell it's good at. Cameras that are built for photography, there's cameras that are built for video. Some actually, of course, strike a perfect middle ground. I've actually never experienced a camera that struck a perfect middle ground better for both video and photography than the Fujifilm X-T3. Point being, let me get right to it. People have been asking whether Fujifilm's going to do full-frame cameras, and as an owner of the finest full-frame cameras money could buy, I don't see myself picking. I haven't. And I actually do work as a working photographer, and I only average about 8 jobs a month. This month has already been 7 jobs, so I'm actually above track to do more than 8 this month. Not that, you know, I'm keeping count. I keep count of the money, which isn't all that much. Actually, the job I did last week actually paid pretty good. Maybe actually go to Costco and buy some nice steaks and some decent food. And I actually stocked up on some nice winter clothing. And yeah, there's also a Cyber Friday sale. Anyway, I'm completely off topic. When I met like everybody up at Photo Plus in New York City, a lot of people told me, it's like, hey, I never would have considered Fuji. These are their exact words. A lot of people said exactly that. I never would have considered Fujifilm except I saw this, you know, slightly arrogant guy on YouTube, and you know, I quickly found out that you know, even though I may not want to go on a date or visit him or something, I know I actually trust his recommendations because he's not trying to sell me anything. I'm actually extremely happy with Fujifilm, and I'm a guy, like I said, that pretty much hates everything. I'm really jaded. You get older when you get jaded, and you get a lot of experience, you get jaded. It's like, yeah, whatever. You see impressive stuff, like, yeah, okay, that's nice. You know the people that I'm talking. I'm exactly like that. Yeah, that's nice. Oh, look at this light, it's crazy. Yeah, okay, whatever. But actually, you know, thinking back these past 15 years on not just photography gear, but some other things that, you know, I'm a bit of an expert on, certain arenas, certain gear. I've never been so impressed with Fujifilm's quality and the product that they actually deliver. My X Pro 3, by the way, my retailer, I actually have 2 retailers for camera stuff. I try not to buy anything from the guys up in New York because they have way too much of your damn money already. I recommend buying stuff from Robert's Camera up in Indianapolis. Fast, incredibly great service. You know, when you call back, if you ever would need to call back, I mean, they're there to help you. Anyway, my X Pro 3 I should have by Wednesday or so from my retailer next week. Yes, I ordered the X Pro 3. What is the X Pro 3? Of course, I had use of it for like 5 days up in New York City. Oh, 4 days, excuse me. It's basically an XT3 guts, improved viewfinder. Titanium top plate and bottom plate have nothing to do with the operation of the camera, but it does a la corrosion. But it's a fantastic camera. I'm actually really impressed by the X Pro 3. I mean, if you like an XT3, I mean, it's a digital rangefinder. I don't need, there's a small handful of people online like, oh my God, there's no LCD screen on the back. You gotta, lazy. People are really, oh my God, you gotta flip down the LCD screen. Yeah, so what? There's an EVF through the hybrid viewfinder. You can review your images all you want through the much larger viewfinder that's on the X Pro 3. People that actually use that camera, since form follows function, is designed exactly what it is. It's like, if you need that LCD on the back, then you are not a person that is looking for a digital rangefinder, low profile, street sweeper sort of camera, travel sort of camera. Not that the XT3 isn't a travel camera, but if you really instantly got to chimp on all your pictures every 5 milliseconds, then you should get the XT3. So the people that have actually been complaining about that they're misplaced. They don't understand that form follows function. But as I made a video last week on, you don't need full frame. Full frame is only best for a few things. As I stated, it's ideal for landscape, but of course medium format will blow the hell out of full frame for landscape, of course. 99% of tilt shift lenses, which are really important for landscape and product photography, and especially architecture, exist for full frame. When it comes to those things, architecture, product photography, interior, exterior architecture, I mean, full frame owns everybody's butt. So there's that arena. No camera company, however, has owned every arena of photography. But with medium format and DX crop sensor like the XT3, the X Pro 3 line, and also the X100 series, of which I've owned 3, and I still have the latest version of the X100 series, which is a leaf shutter camera. Fujifilm really, and for a small company, and relative to Canon and Nikon, they are pretty small. I mean, Fujifilm actually, you know, a couple corporate people told me that, not that I didn't know. I was like, hey, Fujifilm is not that big of a company. It's amazing how they've dominated both Canon and Nikon. They kind of caught them with their skirts down. Man, that's a bad phrase. They're supposed to say caught somebody with their pants down, like they're just using the bathroom. It's a phrase, okay? Don't take that too seriously. They, you know, jumped the shark on Nikon and Canon. So incredibly impressed. It's like if I need that incredible, you know, super spectacular output, then I'll grab my medium format camera. But the narrow window in which, you know, it's like, hey, you got to be picking full frame camera. And the full frame camera is still most ideal. Not that you can't do it with a crop sensor camera, not that you can't do it with medium format, but it is most ideal for wedding photography, for tilt shift usage, architecture, and landscape. Other than that, small should be using full frame camera. I don't. I either grab from medium format GFX or the XT3. And soon to be next week, my X Pro 3, which I can't wait to get. And I currently still own the X Pro 2. I may have a camera contest sometime next year and give away my X Pro 2, but I really can't afford to give it away because I could sell it for money, but I really don't want to sell it. But I have so many cameras. You know, if I sold that, I could actually put that towards a good vacation, which I've never had a really good vacation, ever. My idea of a good vacation would be like driving up the coast of Norway for a week or two, but not in this crappy cold weather, of course. But the point I'm making in this video, since I've been flapping my lips unnecessarily and someone's going to beat me over the head with it, is that Fujifilm is currently the most impressive camera company. I mean, they just are. There's no perfect camera and no company is perfect. None of them pretend to be. But Fujifilm is really doing everything right. And I get so many emails from so many people. Now that I have Facebook, people wake me up. They'll send me messages. Oh my God, my buddy in Israel. He's that famous artist. He does great artwork. Oded Benjiji. I hope I pronounced his name right. Oded Benjiji. He was texting me today. He got an XT3, a 16 millimeter. 50 millimeter, and the new 16 to 80. He bought it as a kit with the XT3, the new 16 to 80. He's so happy. He's reading my book. By the way, I also really wanted to mention I'm working on the 3rd edition of my free book, Fujifilm Tricks and Tips. Please let me know if there's anything you'd like me to include in that book for the 3rd edition. I've got a list of things I'm making to include in the 3rd edition. But yeah, I just so impressed with Fujifilm's what they've done. I mean, look at what they did this year, and they got the world's first game changer medium format camera, which it is. It's a crossover medium format camera, exactly as I defined it. By the way, I have an interview on Monday with a famous photographer that owns a spectacular gallery, that he does really large prints. He don't print nothing unless it's huge. And he has a pair of GFX 100s. And this guy shot 8x10 for decades, and he still shoots 8x10 film. But he's like, screw it. He basically told me, he's like, screw it. All I use now is the GFX 100s. I mean, this stuff is incredible. And his gallery, I'm going to show pictures of the inside of his gallery on Monday. And it's located in that rich part of Montana where all like the mega millionaires live. And so, of course, to decorate, I'm assuming this, to decorate the inside of their mansions that they have in Montana, his photography is epic. It's spectacular photography. Nature, scenic sort of stuff. And it's just like, yeah, man, GFX 100. So I'll interview him on Monday. Anyway, as a person that's not impressed at all, hardly about anything, I'm incredibly impressed with Fujifilm and everything they're doing. And the GFX 50R, which is my favorite camera of all time, literally. Because a buddy and I just got a slightly used one for $3,000. I mean, give me a break. A medium format 51 megapixel camera for $3,000. I mean, just 2+ years ago, I mean, well, actually, a little over 2 years ago, I was right on the edge of buying a Mamiya Leaf Credo, and that was a used one, and that sucker was like $9,000. Medium format has come down to the level of Earthlings. However, if you're using it for working photography to make money on, I mean, it doesn't matter what it costs. If it gets you the job and it gives you the edge, medium format, by the way, is the definition of the edge. There are a lot of places that won't hire you unless you're shooting medium format. You're like, what are you going to shoot this on? This is part of a big promotion for our company. Oh, I'm going to shoot it on... No, got to be medium format. A lot of the people out there that complain think, well, I could take that picture with my crop sensor camera or my full frame. Like, you could, but you might not land the job, and that doesn't give you the edge, and everybody else out there has full frame camera. A lot of people, by the way, up in Photo Plus, I noticed, are walking around with GFX cameras. A lot. There was like a lot of people. And most of them came up to me like, oh my God, yours. Even, I don't want to give you her name, but there's a shooter for Fujifilm. She's a famous shooter, and she's like, oh, when I was getting a GFX system, I was watching your videos. Because basically, I've got all the video information on tips and tricks and info on the GFX Fujifilm system. I was like, well, that was really nice of her. Very sweet gal. Gave her a hug. Her video was playing in the Fujifilm arena there of her photography and what she does. So I just wanted to make this video here at the end of the year. I've never been so impressed. Like I said, what did Fujifilm come out with this year? The X-T3, the X Pro 3, and the GFX 100. I mean, these are two cameras. There's three cameras I just mentioned. Excuse me! I'll cut that out later. I'll edit that out. Those are two cameras that can do everything and anything. It's like if you have an X-T3 and a GFX 100, not that you need a GFX 100, because if you can't nail it with 51 megapixels in medium format, you can't nail it with 102 either. But those two cameras, you could do everything. And then the question comes, why the hell do I need full frame? Full frame is still most ideal for wedding photography, and due to tilt-shift lenses only, and I know Fujifilm is working on a tilt-shift lens for the medium format GF series, but with all those tilt-shift lenses for Canon and Nikon, yeah, the full frame still owns all of that. So wedding and tilt-shift applications, both for architecture and product photography, full frame still owns it. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. And wait for it. Fujifilm.